It wasn't actually so much that we were choosing that. I was just interested in a doula. Certainly I was interested in support here, primarily because of the language barrier and this being my first child. Well, she had a wealth of information that we were so grateful for, questions we didn't even know to ask. So just being so informed and then showing us around and just basically explaining what Jan had to offer and versus what we would expect if we went somewhere else. I was fully intending to just go to one of the larger hospitals here. I have many expat friends who've used the hospitals here, and I know the care is excellent. But so far as birthing in a way that might be similar to what I'd get in Canada, they wouldn't be. The big thing for us was to learn, to be informed that because of my age, and I'm just about 40, so if this happens this week, I won't be 40 yet, but it was being informed that because of my age and for no other reason, I would be forced to have a C-section. So even if everything was seemingly fine, I would have to have a C-section if I went to a regular hospital, and that was kind of it for us. We just felt so good about it right away. And then actually within a very short period of time, both my husband and I found out that we had colleagues who had used 연앤네이쳐 as well, and the feedback was just all super positive. So it just pretty much iterated what we saw and what we felt in our first visit. And again, we used Dr. Park, and her English is fluent, of course, and so it just feels really comfortable. And even the staff here, whom I can't communicate with because my Korean isn't any good, are just so lovely. So yeah, it just feels really nice. It's just very much like a family atmosphere, and again, just less like a hospital. We just feel absolutely that we've made the right choice with here, so yeah, we'll just be taking a long car ride first. It was so comforting to be so well taken care of, basically is what I can say about that. You know, we stayed here for 3 days, and my husband stayed too. We were all in the same room together, of course. And done. You could go and ask for help any second that you needed, and this is our first, so we don't know what we're doing. And there was one night in the middle of the night he was fussing and we couldn't make him stop crying, so they let us try for about half an hour, but then the nurses came in and they just fixed it right up and just showed us what to do, and it just felt so much safer. I was happy for him that we had help. So yeah, no, it was great. You know, they bring in you meals, and yeah, just to feel so well taken care of, it was super. And always, not everyone here speaks English. I don't speak Korean, but always, if someone who came into the room spoke English. Always. Sometimes 2 people came because the one person was the translator, but so there was no issue with that. It was just great. We had some early challenges with breastfeeding. They had people here to help us for that. It was just all good. All good. There are some things that are different, some you know, belief sets, shall we say, or practices that would be different than I might expect at home in Canada, but nothing that stood in our way. You know, Dr. Park knows that we have a different background, some of the things that might go on here, and so she just kind of helps to negotiate all of that. If you know, some of the nurses might suggest one thing, but she knows that's not the way I wanted to do it, and so it was just so positive in that way. You know, being so far away from home, I don't think we could have asked for a more positive experience. Honestly, I think if I wouldn't have felt so safe and secure here when we found Jan, I might have gone home to have my baby. I may have, just to feel better being a first-time mom and being anxious, I may have just elected to go home and do it. So yeah. absolutely. And I have friends who were having babies approximately the same time or a little bit before me, who did just go to hospitals, regular hospitals, where the care is awesome. I've been to a hospital. I know the care is awesome, but a completely different experience when it comes to communication and everything else. So yeah, we're so glad we went this route, even though it was a long drive. It was worth it every time. Today's my last checkup day for afters. So we came 6 days after he was born for his little checkup, and then I came 4 days later, so maybe 10 days after he was born, for my own. And now this is kind of my final all clear. So this is my final checkup, and he'll get a little once over too, and we'll just hear from the pediatrician about any final results from some of the tests that we had done when he was first born, all those newborn tests that you do. And then that's it. We've graduated from Yon, as Lindsay says. I mean, I don't know who else you're speaking to, but everyone else who I know who was here also, you know, the mummies that I met in our prenatal classes all said the same thing. It's just so positive. So we're really glad we chose here, and grateful. Yeah. I couldn't possibly recommend this place enough. Absolutely. Again, the sense of security with the communication was so important, but as important as the care that we got, obviously. And I would just say to anybody coming to do this who is new, like we were, you know, and new parents do this anyway, but just take all the steps to inform yourself, because some things might be different. So things that you know from back home, wherever home might be, they might be different here. So you just want to make sure that you've educated yourself so that you know what your options are, but they made every option available to us. And again, I was told that if I went to a big hospital, some of those options wouldn't have been permitted to me. So they made every option available to us if we knew what we wanted. So yeah, it was so great. Just, you know, I wish I spoke Korean so that I could communicate better with the people here who cared for us. Because it was so great. Yeah, and it made this very anxious new mummy a little more relaxed.